Welcome once again to Daily Life Connection. We're looking at Luke chapter 15, the story of the prodigal son, or the story of the loving father and the two lost sons. And we're looking at all of the implications it has for us in our lives as well. Today we're going to look at verse 17 again. We explored it somewhat yesterday, but we're going to look at it again today from a little different viewpoint. In the original language, it actually says, when he came back to himself. When he came back to himself, which was an idiom meaning when he came to his senses. But there is a significant truth in that he had lost his true self. In trying to gain life and life to the full from the world system, a performance-based system, he had lost his real self. This young man laying here in the dirt in the pig pen, slopping pigs, outcast, no friends, no family, all alone, living in shame and squalor, that isn't who he really was. He was created to be the son of a very wealthy family, a very wealthy estate, and he was to be one of the heirs of that. So what a contrast between who he really is and who he finds himself to be in this situation. And that's what performance-based systems always do. Performance-based systems always, whether it's the world system or religious system, always destroy and drain us from our real identity, from who we really are. We end up putting on a fake face or a false face. Boy, in the world, if you're going to get your accolades from people and rewards from performance, we end up having to put on a false face many times. We have to pretend we're something or someone that we really aren't. Deep down in our hearts, we know that that's not who we really are, but we have to pretend that. And it's the same in religion, isn't it? Sadly, in so many churches, the reality is because standards are held up that we have to live by, conform to. The more you conform to the standards of that church or that denomination, the higher your status will be, the more approval you'll have. If you depart from that or deviate from it, then you lose that status, you lose your privileges, you lose your acceptance and approval and significance in that system. And so either way, performance-based systems just destroy us at the core of who we are. Jesus said it, didn't he, when he said, what will it if you forfeit your own soul, what will you gain? Even if you gain the whole world, but you've forfeited who you really are, you've given up your real true identity, then what really does it matter? Because down inside we know that who we really are at the core, that's the most important part of who we are. You see, the reality is God can't heal and touch and transform a fake us. When we're presenting ourselves to Him and we're pretending to be something we're not, He can't heal us and transform us. But when we come to Him in reality of who we really are, when we come to, and that's part of what confession is, isn't it? Confession is just simply saying, this is who I truly am. The good, the bad, and the ugly. An honest opinion of ourselves, an honest evaluation of ourselves. When we do that, when we present ourselves as we really are, then He transforms us so that we can become who we were created to be. You see, the reality is who He created us to be, we can't become that through our own human effort. We can't become that through performance. It has to be simply through dependence on Him. And the more we depend on Him, the more we present ourselves to His presence in our true, honest self, the more He transforms us to become like Him. The more we become what we were created to be. That's good news today, isn't it? When He came back to Himself. I just pray that for all of us, we will be able to be honest about who we are with God, that we will come back to our true selves, that we'll stop performing for others, that we'll stop trying to get our ego stroked by pretending to be someone we're not, by living in ways that aren't really in harmony with who we truly are. And that just has so many ramifications for it. So today I just encourage you to spend some time and just say, God, help me to really see who I am. Help me to come back to myself, to be true to who I am, true to who you created me to be. That I might live out my life in those ways, because then all of a sudden we become authentic and genuine, and our relationship with God becomes rich and deep, and our lives become fulfilled and full of His glory and full of significance. That's just, look at this son. That's exactly what happened to him. When he came back to who he really was, when he came before his father and said, this is who I really am, the father was able to restore and renew him and reinstate him and bring him back to living in that full privileges of who he really was. That's good news for us today. Let's think about it. We'll talk again tomorrow.